What happens when a cat dreams of flying? Spoiler, it's pretty hilarious. But let's dive deeper into this whimsical tale and see how one cat's dream took him on an unforgettable adventure. In a quiet village, not far from a large forest, lived Milo, a cat with a wild dream. This village was a serene place where the days were long and lazy and the nights were filled with the sounds of crickets and the occasional hoot of an owl. The villagers were kind and the animals lived in harmony, each with their own little quirks and dreams. While other cats napped and chased mice, Milo stared at the sky, dreaming of flying. He would watch the birds with their graceful wings, soaring effortlessly through the air, and his heart would fill with longing. If only I could join them, he would think, his eyes reflecting the vast blue sky. I'd be the best flyer ever, he'd say, wishing for wings. Milo's imagination was vivid. He pictured himself with large, feathery wings, gliding over the treetops, feeling the wind ruffle his fur. He imagined the freedom, the exhilaration, and the endless possibilities that flying would bring. One sunny day, Milo told his best friend, Benny the sensible rabbit, about his plan. Benny was known for his practical nature, always thinking things through and rarely taking risks, but he was also Milo's confidant, the one who listened to all his wild ideas. "Benny, I'm going to fly," Milo declared. His eyes sparkled with excitement, and his tail twitched with anticipation. He had been planning this for days, and he couldn't wait to share it with Benny. Benny laughed, sending carrot bits everywhere. "Milo, you always come up with the craziest ideas," he said, wiping his mouth. "Cats don't fly, Milo," he chuckled. But deep down, Benny admired Milo's spirit and his unwavering belief in the impossible. "Cats don't fly, Milo," he chuckled. But Milo wasn't giving up. He had a determination that was hard to shake. He believed that if he wanted something badly enough, he could make it happen. But Milo wasn't giving up. He spent hours thinking and planning, trying to come up with a way to make his dream a reality. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was ready to face any challenge that came his way. He had a brilliant idea: balloons. He remembered seeing children in the village playing with balloons and how they floated gently in the air. "If I can get enough balloons," he thought, "maybe they can lift me up too." Excited, he rushed to the market and got the biggest, bounciest balloons from Mrs. Hooton, the wise old owl. Mrs. Hooton had seen many things in her long life, and she was always ready with a piece of advice or a kind word. "Are you sure about this, Milo?" she asked, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "Absolutely," Milo replied, his heart pounding with excitement. Tying them to his back, Milo jumped, and whoosh, he was flying. The sensation was incredible. He felt weightless, as if he were a part of the sky itself. The village below looked like a tiny, colourful patchwork, and he could see for miles in every direction. "I'm flying!" he cheered, floating over rooftops and trees. Benny watched in amazement. He couldn't believe his eyes. "You're really doing it, Milo," he called, his voice filled with a mix of awe and concern. "You're really doing it, Milo," he called. Milo felt a surge of pride. He had done it. He was flying. The wind rushed past him, and he felt a sense of freedom he had never known before. But soon the wind picked up, and Milo lost control. The gentle breeze turned into a strong gust, and the balloon started to sway wildly. Milo tried to steer, but it was no use. He was at the mercy of the wind. "Uh-oh," he muttered as he drifted toward the forest. The trees looked much larger and more intimidating from up high, and Milo's excitement turned to fear. He realized that he hadn't thought this through as well as he should have. Higher and higher he went until, pop! One balloon burst, then another. The sound was like a series of tiny explosions, and Milo's heart sank with each one. One balloon burst, then another. Milo started to drop. The ground rushed up to meet him, and he felt a wave of panic. He flailed his paws, trying to slow his descent, but it was no use. He plummeted towards a shimmering pond, landing with a big splash. The water was cold and shocking, and Milo felt a mix of relief and embarrassment. He had wanted to fly, but now he was just a wet, soggy mess. Drenched and grumpy, Milo swam to the edge, thinking maybe flying isn't so easy after all. He pulled himself out of the water, his fur plastered to his body, and shook himself off. He felt a pang of disappointment, but also a sense of accomplishment. He had tried, and that was something to be proud of. Back in the village, Benny spotted the colourful balloons in a soggy Milo. He rushed over, his eyes wide with concern. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Are you okay?" Benny asked, laughing. Despite his worry, he couldn't help but chuckle at the sight of his friend, dripping wet and covered in bits of pondweed. Milo sighed. Next time, maybe I'll stick to dreaming. He felt a mix of emotions, disappointment, relief, and a strange sense of satisfaction. He had dared to dream big, and even though it hadn't turned out the way he had hoped, he had learned something valuable. And that's the tale of Milo, the cat who dared to dream big. Sometimes even the wildest dreams take us on the greatest adventures. Milo's story became a legend in the village, a reminder to all the animals that it's okay to dream big, even if things don't always go as planned, because sometimes the journey itself is the greatest adventure of all.